The second full moon in Capricorn at the anaretic degree. This is called a blue moon because we usually only get one full moon in each lunar cycle. And this one will be quite powerful because it's been in the heavens, it's conjoined with Pluto, which is stationed retrograde and at the 0 degrees, several minutes. So welcome to my channel here. I'm Debbie from Celestial Astrology Healing. And today I'd like to just go a bit more in depth into what the significance of this full moon in Capricorn may bring, bearing in mind that we have already had a first new moon in Capricorn on the 22nd of June this year. So it's giving us a chance to revisit the themes of Capricorn and Cancer, because at full moon, there is the opposition of the sun and the moon being exactly opposite in the heavens at the same degree and minute. So welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I am a consulting Western astrologer using the tropical zodiac and the whole sign house system. So this involves using your rising sign as the cusp of your first house, as it does with all house systems. But if you know your time of birth, when you listen to my delineations later on for all the signs of the zodiac, it can often be more accurate to listen to your rising sign. However, I welcome you to do what feels right. You can listen to your rising sign, your sun or your moon, to get a fuller picture of how this full moon in Capricorn may affect you depending on which house or houses that the sun and the moon are working in their polarities in your birth chart. So welcome. If you're new to my channel, I really appreciate support by you pressing the subscribe button to help more people see my channel, as this is free offerings that I work doing alongside all my other things in life. So thank you. If you're able to support me, press like. If you feel any of this resonates with you, you can leave comments below, which also helps the algorithm. Share, and basically thank you again. And also for returning friends, Astro friends, thank you for supporting me and watching. And let's have a look. I always like to start with some images of what Capricorn represents, and also Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn. So here we can see, this is an image of the Capricornian sea goat, which was a mythical creature. There's some legendary stories of, I think Zeus was unhappy with something that he did, and he plunged him into the sea, where his bottom part of his body became like a fin of a water creature. And Zeus thought this was quite funny, so he kept this goat figure. I'm sure there's something much more significant and much more in-depth, but I can't remember exactly. But the goat symbolizes an earthy nature, and the sea goat also brings in the mystical realms of the earth, of the watery element. And this is the glyph of Capricorn. It's like a V with a loop attached to it. So that is the symbol of Capricorn. And here we can see the moon at the fullest point. And this is what happens at full moon. There is a sense of complete expansive light reflecting from the sun. It's always connected to the polarity of the sun. So at full moon, we have a sense of completion of what might be coming to an ending point, or high visibility, or a culmination point. And this may be related to the new moon in Capricorn, which was on the 11th of January 2024. There's many cycles in astrology. We have the 2-week cycle from the new moon, which culminates 2 weeks later at the full moon. But then when we go back to look at when there was a new moon in Capricorn, that's more like a 6-monthly period. And in this case, it's also a 7-month, because we've got the repeat of this blue moon in Capricorn. So let me go on to another image. Here is a very earthy, solid, resilient image of this powerful mountain goat. Capricorns are ruled by Saturn, which I'll show some images of shortly. But a mountain goat, whenever you pass them here in Scotland, you can see that they can live on the most amazingly rugged and hostile environments, where there's not a lot to sustain life. So there's a sense of hardship and perseverance and endurance, that this goat can thrive in such an environment. And that is one of the traits of Capricorn. If you have friends that are a Capricorn sun or moon, or have a stellium of planets or strong points in the chart like the midheaven or IC or ascendant, as I was saying, or descendant, they can be very powerful Capricornian traits. And this can be one of authority, resilience, of practicality. The ability to be quite self-disciplined is also a Capricornian trait, and one of patience as well, because Saturn is ruled by Kronos, lord of, so Capricorn is ruled by Kronos, lord of time. And here is the planet Saturn, and these beautiful rings here can represent boundaries around us. And indeed, in ancient times, for thousands of years, Saturn was seen as the most distant planet of the solar system, where the ancient ones could see with the naked eye the existence of this distant place, a cold place, a place which the most distant place from the sun, so therefore representing the opposite of what the sun represents, which is vitality, life-giving, energy and warmth and, you know, exuberance. When we're far from the sun, we are in a place of distance, isolation, coldness and death and endings and boundary. And that's what Saturn represented to the ancient ones, and certainly it's part of the significance of what Saturn represents in modern day astrology. And I like this image here, which I see as Saturn with his back to us. And he feels to me in this place of retreat, perhaps, and a place where, you know, it's difficult, you know, that place of boundary away from others. And it reminds us that he is Kronos, lord of time, which is signified by this wheel of the clock here. And Saturn often gives us lessons in life which require us to dig deep, be patient, recognize our limitations, what's missing, and how we can build upon our mastery and use our strengths to become wise through living through difficult times. So there is a sense of reality check with Saturn. And I have another image here. This is a little bit more stark. He looks like the Grim Reaper of death, and actually death can be related to Saturn, as in symbolic death, meaning endings. And when we have an ending, that always makes space for a new beginning. But yeah, the Grim Reaper of death, Saturn, Kronos here, with the clock of time, about patience and endurance, and through mastery over the ages, as we live through difficult challenges, we can become masters and know our own strengths. So Saturn is a very important planet in our birth chart. If you're born in the daytime, Saturn is known as your helpful malefic planet. He is the greater malefic. If you're born in the nighttime, he is not on your team. So wherever Saturn is in your own personal birth chart, there can be more challenges in life for you to live through. And Mars would be the opposite of that. If you're born in the daytime, Mars is the lesser malefic planet, and he would be causing more problems and challenges and life lessons to you if you're born in the daytime and you're a day sect person. And if you're born in the nighttime, Mars is your helpful insect malefic planet. So that's a wee introduction there to the images and symbolic meanings of Capricorn and Saturn. And now I'd like to show a chart of the heavens around this time of the full moon, this blue moon in Capricorn. Before I go on into discussing the chart of the heavens at the time of this full moon on the 21st of July, again, I welcome you to subscribe to my channel if you like my style of offering my astrological information, knowledge. I used to study modern astrology for many years before the introduction of computers. So I used to cast charts by hand and give them as gifts to friends and family, and when babies were born. But I didn't have the skills of interpretation. And more recently, well, I had some, but not really perfected. When is ever anything perfected? We're always learning. But more recently, during COVID, I studied Hellenistic ancient astrology with Nightlight astrology, and I've done courses with Kelly Certes, Michelle Corbusier, and I'm always looking to study more to enrich my knowledge. So I blend ancient astrology and modern astrology in my readings. If you're interested in a personal reading, this is when we can really bring your chart, your personal blueprint in life alive, so you're aware of your strengths, you're aware of your challenges, and you can walk your path in this lifetime more consciously, recognizing why you might have certain challenges. But as human beings, nothing is predetermined. We always have choices in how we respond to situations in life, and quite often we come to crossroads. We are given this opportunity as spirit souls and human bodies to make our decisions and walk our path. So somebody with a very similar birth chart may have very different lives with similar themes, but you know, if you make a decision to walk a certain direction and it's not another direction, the karmic outcome or what unfolds is likely to be different. So yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in there, and I'm really passionate about offering personal readings because this is when we can overlay the heavens to your own personal birth chart and see what's being activated, because not everything is activated all the time in your birth chart. Usually when you have aspects, which are the planetary movements that become in a certain angle to your own natal planets or significant points in your birth chart, like your midheaven, IC, ascendant, etc. That's when things become really activated. Also times around the eclipses, that may be when your birth chart is really energized. For example, at the moment, we have the Libra and Aries dynamic going across the charts for people, and it will be shifting into Pisces and Virgo next. Anyway, I digress. Contact me below if you'd like a personal reading. I'm very well priced at this stage. As a relatively newly qualified astrologer, it's quite hard to actually make your mark in a big pond out there, big sea actually. And yeah, I've saturated my friends' market, I think, and I appreciate all my friends that have come to me for readings. But primarily why I do these YouTube readings and interpretations is to really show my style of astrology, so that I may reach more people in the hope that I may eventually become a full-time professional astrologer. But at the moment, I have many other hats that I wear in life as a mother, grandmother, run a business, and yeah, have many interests. But believe me, astrology is right up there, and there's not a day that I go without looking at the heavens and feeling what's going on in the heavens and how that resonates with me, so that I'm aware of what's going on in my life and how long these themes may be going on. So here we have a map of the heavens at the full moon in Capricorn on the 21st of July. And in the UK, which is where I am, I'm in Scotland, we're having a British summertime. So it's at 11:16. If it's universal time, that would be 10:16. So please adapt for your time zone wherever you are in the world. I plan to discuss what's going on in this chart and then give very short interpretations for all signs of the zodiac, and I will timestamp it, so you can just scroll along after this little bit of information here. I don't tend to do much mundane astrology, which is about worldly events. I try not to be too political. I'm sort of more interested in the spiritual and the positive that we can put out there, but I respect astrologers who do that work. But that's not what I do on my channel. So let's have a little look. Let me get my annotate tool out. Here we go. So as I was saying, at the new moon, at new moon, there's planets, the sun and the moon are conjunct in the heavens at the same degree and minute. But at a full moon, 2 weeks later, we have the sun always in exact opposition. So the sun and the moon are in opposition here at 29 degrees, 8 minutes. The moon at 29 degrees, Capricorn, 8 minutes. And the sun is in the opposite sign of Cancer at 29 degrees Cancer, 8 minutes. Now, these degrees are known in astrology as the anaretic degree or the critical degree, because it's like there's a slight stressful energy when a planet is almost edging towards getting into the next sign, but not quite there. So it's really tying up all of those ends and before it's able to move on. So it can be a stressful placing for any planets that are at the 29th degree, and also in your own personal natal chart. If you have any planets at 29 degrees, you can see where that is and which area of life that's at work. I have a planet, Mars, which is at 29 degrees in my 10th house. So, you know, sometimes that can be stressful for me to actually, you know, at work within the area of my occupation or work life, and Mars can bring conflict or disagreement or having to assert myself in a certain way. But certainly I can feel that in my life's path. Yeah, personally. So anyway, other planets that we've got at 29 degrees as well is Neptune here at 29 degrees, 50 minutes retrograde. So Neptune, let me get my notes here, stationed retrograde on the 2nd of July at 29 degrees 55. And you can see that Neptune's just moved back very slowly, lost 5 minutes, because Neptune is one of the most distant transpersonal planets of our solar system. So Neptune is also at 29 degrees in Pisces. In modern astrology, Neptune is seen to rule Pisces. So Neptune is in the very last degrees of the astrological zodiac, Pisces being the last sign, and Neptune will be moving into Aries next year, station in direct on the 7th of December 2024 at 27 degrees 7 minutes. And on the 30th of March 2025, Neptune will ingress into Aries, which will be a very different dynamic. But at the time of this full moon in Capricorn, this blue moon, second moon, giving us the opportunity to revisit the themes of the full moon, which we had on the 22nd of June this year. Neptune is actually creating a helpful sextile aspect, which is the nature of Venus. So there's a blend of energy here supporting the moon, and also Neptune is giving a trine aspect to the sun. So that's another supportive energy of flow and harmony, which is the nature of Jupiter. So Neptune represents many things. When Neptune was discovered, when any modern planets were discovered, whatever was going on in society at the time is given as one of the significances of that planet. So at the time of Neptune's discovery, there was a great interest in the occult, in clairvoyancy, spiritualism, otherworldly things, and also film and imagery and cinema. So there's a sense of believing in other things, and sometimes they can be fantasy. They can be highly creative and highly imaginative, very, very beautiful, poetic. It could be about dance, imagery, you know, song, all of these beautiful energies. And all planets have a shadow side as well. So the shadow side of Neptune can be likened to foggy weather, you know, mist that obscures the clarity of a situation, like a fog rolling off the sea, and you're sort of at sea, but you're not really sure which direction you're going, or you're not sure, you know, what's right and what's wrong. So there can be a sort of delusional energy around Neptune as well, which can be felt as deceit, delusion, deception, and also, you know, having two rose-colored glasses, you know, thinking about things in too much of a positive light when the reality isn't that. So you know, Neptune's offering some support, and there can be hope and faith, I'd say, from that support. But also, you know, the Neptune at the anaretic degree is also, you know, in a little bit of a stressful situation. What I did like, recently I heard one astrologer, I listened to many other channels as well to enrich my own understanding of astrology, and Laurie Lothian, shout out, when she was talking about Neptune going retrograde, it's like the tide is going back out and revealing what's left, you know, because you don't always see that, but when the tide goes back out, whatever's left is more visible and we're able to see things in a different light. So I loved that analogy. And also Saturn is retrograde, and Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. And Saturn, as I've discussed, he is the planet Kronos. So he's stationed retrograde around the 29th, 30th of June at 19 degrees Pisces. And I can't remember how many minutes. I've not got that in my notes here. And he'll be stationed in direct around the 15th, 16th of November at 12 degrees 41 Pisces. So he's going to be going back 7 degrees, again, giving us this opportunity to review and make sense of our long-term plans. And Pisces, you know, it's like it's fluid, mutable water, adaptable, changeable, flexible, compassionate, and connected with the collective. So, you know, it's a sensitive placement of this water that is boundless, and Saturn is giving some energy of creating walls or boundaries to channel, like a dam walls or something like that, boundaries around this Piscean energy, wherever that is in your personal birth chart. So we have Neptune retrograde, we have Saturn retrograde, we have Pluto here also retrograde. Let me look at when Pluto retrograded. So it's actually whenever a planet is known to be retrograde, this is from our geocentric earthly view from Earth. And actually, they're not going backwards, but from our own perspective, they appear to be going backwards. It's an optical illusion to do with the speed of other planets. I certainly found that the other day. I was in a car park and this car started moving and I thought my car was rolling. So it's that sort of thing. But I have got Neptune quite strongly aspect in my own birth chart at the moment. So yeah, I feel like I can be influenced in very nebulous ways. That's another good keyword for Neptune. So I've got that Neptune stationed retrograde on the 2nd of May 2024 at 2 degrees. Oh, sorry, Pluto I'm talking about. Pluto stationed retrograde on the 2nd of May at 2 degrees Aquarius, 6 minutes. So now you can see Pluto's at 0 degrees 54, so it's about a minute almost. But Pluto is the most distant planet of the solar system, of the modern planets, the transpersonal planets, so moves the most slowly. So Pluto's lost about, my math isn't the most accurate. Well, yeah, Pluto was 2 degrees 6 minutes, and now it's not even one degree, so it's lost a minute or so. And Pluto will be returning on the 2nd of September to the last anaretic degree of Capricorn, where he'll be staying until the 20th of November, when Pluto will re-enter Aquarius. So it's interesting. We've got this conjunction, a conjoining and blending of these energies here in Capricorn and Aquarius, because the degree, there's only like about 1 degree between the moons. So it's an out of sign conjunction. So the blending of whatever the Capricorn house signifies for you in your personal birth chart and the Plutonian house signifies for you the Aquarius placement of your birth chart. The themes are brought together because of this conjunction, out of sign, because they're in different areas of your life, but the topics are going to be brought to the fore. And also with Pluto retrograding back into where the moon is, that's going to be highlighting these themes between the 2nd of September and around the 20th of November. So is there anything else I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, I did. There's been a recent conjunction. I'm actually recording this on the 14th of July, but on tomorrow, maybe I can actually annotate the chart. Let me try this It may or may not work. Go to my mouse. Annotate. Move a day. I'm looking for, excuse me, I'm looking for the Mars and Uranus conjunction. Yeah, 26 degrees. This is what's shown the 16th, actually. Let me just go to the minutes. Thanks for bearing with me. I told you it might take a while. Trying to get the exact minutes. I get confused with that lot of spirit there, which is one of the Arabian parts. So I'm trying to get Mars. They're both, Mars and Uranus are at 26 degrees, but I'm trying to get Mars to be at the same minutes. Taken ages, so it probably will be going back into the 15th, actually. This is Solar Fire program that I use. So you can see 26 here and 44 is trying to get it down to about 20 minutes. So we're in the early hours of the 16th. It's going to be later on the 15th by the look of this. Make this faster. There's 40 minutes. I could have paused this and just moved it, but it shows you how the Solar Fire program works. You can annotate by minutes or hours. Nearly there. Thank you for bearing with me. It's good to take a breather while this slow thing's happening. Not easy after you've had your morning coffee and nothing in your stomach. So we're on the 15th now, around 100 hours. I should have really done hours initially before the minutes, but anyway. I could crop this out, but then that takes forever as well. Let me see, nearly there, 23 minutes, 19 minutes. I'm just trying to get it to the exact minute. That's 21 to 19. That's 20 to 19. Here we go. So 15:15 British summertime. So that would be 1 hour before that. 14, so 2:14 in the afternoon universal time. This is something that's going on in the heavens with this conjunction here of Mars and Uranus. So, you know, it would depend on if you've got other placements in your birth chart around these degrees, maybe down to about 23 degrees Taurus to about, you know, the anaretic degree, 29 degrees, 19 minutes Taurus. Also, you could look at other fixed signs like the opposite sign of Scorpio or Leo or Aquarius, because these would be causing a square to those planets or an opposition to the Scorpio planets. So when we think about what Mars signifies, Mars moves quickly through the heavens, spends several weeks in each sign, sometimes about 6 weeks, depends on his speed. But he is the god of war. He is the warrior. He rules Aries and in ancient astrology, Scorpio. He's about assertion, drive, energy, action. And, you know, with that, he can cause conflict, but he also can give you energy, you know, an energetic way of applying yourself. It can be quite physical because this is in the earth sign of Taurus. We're at 26 degrees, 19 minutes Taurus. So, you know, Mars has that energy to apply himself and do things. Now, Uranus was discovered, I think it was 1781, at the time of the Industrial Revolution. So there was the invention of electricity, and there was many changes in life. So new ideas were coming. So it's about innovative thoughts, total shifts in our consciousness. It can be about awakening. It can be about disruption, rebellion, liberation, and destabilization or shocking events. So like a volcano that suddenly erupts when you're not expecting it. So when we've got the lesser malefic Mars conjoined with Uranus, there could be some volatility going on around, it's building now. You can feel it building a couple of days beforehand when the conjunction is around 23 degrees, 19 minutes Taurus. Will be exact, as I'm saying, on the 15th of July, universal time around 2:15. And then you will feel it as Mars separates in a separating conjunction to around the anaretic degree. So over the week that builds up to the full moon on the 21st, this is what's happened, excuse me, in the heavens. Now, so there could be, for mundane astrology, there could be, and because it's meant to be conjunct with the fixed star Algol, which is one of the Gorgons, Medusa, and there's the legend of losing the head, being severed from the head. So there's this theme of losing the head. So for some world leaders, particularly, I've heard, I'm not really wanting to get into politics, politicians that have placements or ascendants with this conjunction are likely to, in some way, symbolically lose their head. And for us on a personal level, we need to think about taking responsibility for our own reactions and the way that we might respond to volatile situations in our own life in this area that Taurus represents in our own personal birth chart, because it's likely that there are some explosive potentials that could happen with anger, severing ties, separation, and volatility. So that's just a wee heads up. But on a positive note, I love to be positive. I'm a double Sag. So let's look for the positives. This could be an aspect which can support us to have courage. Mars is about courage, stepping into our power and doing things that are necessary that maybe we haven't actually faced before and we've brushed it aside. But it's giving us this potential to use our own courage to tie things up, to deal with things that are causing us these stresses and uncontrollable events in our life. So that's just something that I thought I'd like to share, because this is quite a powerful aspect that's happening in the heavens, and it's all over YouTube. Actually, in my own birth chart, I have this conjunction, not quite exact, but yeah, for me, I know that I use my physical energy in a very dynamic way. I use it to fire myself up, to drive myself. It's not in Taurus, but it's in another earth sign. But yeah, we can use this energy. And also it's about independence, rebellion and independence. So following our own true path, being true to ourselves. So this energy is building up around, before the new moon, exact on the 15th of July. So I'm going to pause the screen and bring back the chart to the actual full moon. Again, I welcome you to like, share, subscribe to my channel if you're new here and you like my way of talking about astrology. So I forgot to say, if you've got any planets, or maybe I did say and I've forgotten, if you've got any planets in your own personal birth chart around 26 to 29 degrees, this will be more significant to you, this full moon in Capricorn, because the angles will be either conjoined to the sun or the moon, or they may be in opposition or square. So I'm just highlighting the cardinal points in the heavens. I've now moved the chart to Aries. I'm just going to give very short interpretations because I feel like I've given quite a long introduction. And yeah, if you need a personal reading, then I can give you a good hour and a half reading into your chart. So get in touch if you'd like that. So yeah, the cardinal signs of the zodiac are Aries, cardinal start of the astrological new year, cardinal fire, opposite cardinal air, which is Libra at autumn or full equinox. So if you've got any planets at the 29th degree or within 3 degrees of 29 of Aries, Libra, Cancer, this is summer solstice, cardinal water, opposite the winter solstice of Capricorn, the earth cardinal sign. So these angles are going to be dynamic for you. And certainly, if we go into the interpretations now for Aries, this full moon is happening in an angular house, which is the moon is up here in the 4th house of Capricorn. This is the house of praxis. This is the house of your public visibility and what you're seen to do in the outside world. So it can often be about your vocations, your role, your status. If you're married, if you're a grandmother or a grandfather or a parent, you know, if you're working, it's your career, that career path. And it's in this opposition to the sun here. So all full moons are to do with the balance and the reflection. And that's in your home house, your home family, your place of rest, you're related to parents, ancestry, property as well. So this full moon dynamic is happening here across home and work life or public life, your drive to do things in the public world. And Saturn ruling Capricorn, it's about responsibility, discipline, what you can do, and your long-term plans here, tying up themes that may have begun around the 11th of January 2024. And there's a blend of this conjunction here with Pluto, bringing, you know, what Pluto represents is intense death, endings, rebirth and cleansing and beginning again in a sense of renewal. But in that process, there can be some intense lessons of looking at our shadow, looking deep within, things that are hidden and pushed down into the dark earth. And it represents facing these things and with a sense of letting go, but also finding power as well. So the 11th house is to do with your long-term dreams. It's the house of Jupiter's joy, the greater benefic planet. So you look your long-term dreams, there may be shifts and changes, endings happening here. And it also may relate to your friendship groups and, you know, memberships of certain clubs. You may be letting go of what no longer serves you there. That's all I'm going to say just now for you, Aries, and I'm going to move on to Taurus. I hope that's helpful. As I say, I'm just doing really short delineations today. So Taurus, we've got the moon in the 9th house. This is the house of God in opposition to the, let me get my annotate tool again, 29 degrees, Capricorn, 8 minutes, in opposition to the sun in the 3rd house of Goddess. That's quite interesting, actually, because you've got the moon in the house that the sun rules, the 9th house of God, the Capricornian house, and you've got the sun in the house that's the joy of the moon. So they're in a sort of mutual reception, one being in each other's house. And also Cancer is related to family, security, nurturing, care and protection. So these themes are highly visible. The 9th house can also be, when I say the house of God, it can be about decisions that are made by those in authority. So for some of you Taurians, you may have some decisions. It could be legal, court related, or it could be by those that are teachers to you, guru type figures, teachers, those that have influence, that have a say on some of your outcomes. Some themes that maybe began around the beginning of the new year at new moon are coming to full fruition here, culmination, certain endings. And with Pluto here in the 10th house of praxis in Aquarius, blending with that, there's definitely going to be some big shifts and breakdowns and release and renewal and rebirth. And this may be related to your career path. There may be opportunities. There may be things that maybe you're doing some study, higher mind, that may affect your future career as well. So that's what I've got for you, Taurus, there. Let me know if any of that resonates with you. And thank you for listening. As I said, I'm just doing short delineations today because I've given quite a long introduction. So Gemini, welcome here. This is your full moon, second full moon in Capricorn chart, and it's going on in the 8th house. In ancient astrology, this is the eighth house, known as the gates of Hades, the idle place. And it's across the 8th house of shared resources, other people's money, money that comes in from things like unexpected sources, could be related to inheritances, but it also could be related to just joint money or your partner's money, or just general, you know, bills and mortgages and rents and taxes. But you could have unexpected money coming to you, and it's coming across the second axis where the sun is in Cancer in opposition around your own resources, your own skills, your own sense of what you're able to do, in a sense of protecting your family, supporting your family, using your own skills. And there's a wee bit of tension here around the anaretic degree and things and themes that may have come up for you around the beginning of the new year, the 11th of January, when there was a new moon in Capricorn, may be coming to a sense of fruition here, completion and endings, especially with this Pluto here conjoining with the moon, an out of sign conjunction. And this is in your 9th house. And Pluto is going backwards towards the moon. And the anaretic degree here of the moon is, you know, bringing things to completion. The 9th house, where Pluto is at the moment in Aquarius, may be bringing ideas, new different ideas for your sense of expansion in your own belief system, letting go of old ways of doing things, widening your horizons as well. So there's that blend there going on for you, Geminis. I'm just looking at other things that may be significant, but I'm trying to keep this short. Just going to pause the recording. Is this paused? Okay, I think I've been recording the whole time there. Yes, and my battery was just about to die there, so sorry about that. That was a fault on my part there. I wasn't together with that. So yeah, and also for you Geminis, you've got this combination of Neptune and Saturn in your 10th house. Neptune at that anaretic degree here, causing you to reflect and go back over ideas around what you're going to be doing in the public eye. The 10th house of praxis, action, could be related to rethinking career paths as well, with Saturn there. And there is a sextile to the moon, some helpful creative ideas there. Maybe you're shifting what you may do in your work life, or using some more imaginative creative skills. And there is a trine to the 2nd house of your personal resources. So using your own imagination and creativity may be possible for you around this time. So good transformations, good opportunities ahead there, Gemini. So Just moving on now to Cancer, jumping the gun there. So Cancer, you're one of the cardinal signs again. So let me just highlight where this opposition is. So the moon is in your 7th house, which is an angular house at 29 degrees, 8 minutes Capricorn, and the sun is at 29 degrees Cancer, 8 minutes. So that's your 1st house. So the dynamic here is related to your personal relationships, the 7th house of personal relationships, and your house of self-expression and own identity. So there's some shifts in how you show up within relationships. So relationships, if you're in a personal relationship, this could be related to that. A romantic relationship, a long-term relationship, there could be some big shifts there. And with Pluto in an out of sign conjunction here in the house of shared resources, this is bringing some endings, facing power dynamics, taking some sort of control, but using different ideas, because Aquarius is about the water carrier bringing new ideas, and that may often be related to personal independence or using group initiatives, community-based things. But if you don't have a close and personal relationship in your everyday life, this could also be related to your clientele, your customers, those that receive what you offer to the world in your work life, in what you use in expressing your own sense of self and knowledge. So this could be a really big shift for you with potential for growth in the future, bearing in mind that there was a new moon on the 11th of January in Capricorn. This is bringing it to a head. And these events may unfold over the next couple of weeks, and also having Pluto moving back to the point where the moon is on the 2nd of September for a while, until he moves back into the Aquarian house on the 20th of November. This is definitely highlighting some changes and transformative things that you can offer. And the moon is your ruler. The moon is in Capricorn, in exile, in the opposite place to where the moon rules. So there is sort of topics around security and family and belonging. So who is your family? What makes you feel safe? And what have you got to offer others? So I hope that's helpful for you, Cancer. Leave a comment below if any of this resonates with you. That is always helpful for the algorithm to pick up on my channel and help more people see it. You can also buy me a coffee if you appreciate my time here. Thank you. Or just leave a comment and share, subscribe. Those are all very appreciative things that we can do to help each other. Thank you. Here we are, Leo. This full moon in Capricorn is in the 6th house at the 29th degree. So in ancient astrology, the 6th house was known as the joy of Mars, one of the malefic planets. And the sun is in the 12th house of Saturn's joy, the greater malefic. So there's some energies going on around your everyday life, your service, may be affecting your own health. And it is a quite stressful placement because this is the 29th degree of the Zodiac, the anaretic degree. So themes that may have been prevalent around the new moon in Capricorn on the 11th of January may be coming up to a completion point, an ending point here. And there's also this very powerful dynamic of Pluto in this out of sign conjunction here to your moon, the moon representing your own emotions, your inner world, your mind, your body. And in this house of everyday life, routine, service, duties, self-sacrifice, there's big shifts and potential transformative changes. And you will be getting the chance to revisit these themes with Pluto moving into this same degree of where the moon is at 29 degrees on the 2nd of September for a couple of months until Pluto moves back into Aquarius on the 20th of November. So there's some dynamics that involve behind the scenes family things, where the sun is in the house of the hidden place of retreat, secrecy, behind the scenes, private, away from the public eye, around the themes of nurturing and family, maybe mothering or protecting, and your everyday visible life. The moon is in exile in Capricorn because the moon rules the opposite sign. So there's a sort of mix of mutual reception in a way, because the moon is in the house of Cancer, Capricorn, and she rules Cancer, and the sun is in Cancer. And, you know, anyway, there's a sort of mutual reception. There's a need to find balance and harmony here, or there could be some explosive energies going on, especially because we've had that Mars and Uranus conjunction around the 15th of July here. That's just happened in the lead up to this full moon in a very public place. So some things may have happened in your life, and it's important to take responsibility for your own actions and your own reactions, because you'll have strong feelings, Leo, of that bright sunny light that radiates from you. So I hope that's helpful for you. And now moving on to Virgo. So Virgo, we have the moon in the 5th house, which is one of the benefic houses in ancient astrology. This house is called the house of Venus's joy. So Mars is the 6th house and Venus is the 5th house. So the moon is at 29 degrees Capricorn, 8 minutes in Venus's joy, and the sun is at 29 degrees, 8 minutes in the house of Jupiter's joy. So these are benefic houses. So for you Virgos, there can be some sense of expressing something around your own joys, around creativity, this house of Venus's joy, what brings you pleasure in life. It can be related to entrepreneurship if you're wanting to do something creative that you bring to the world to share. If you're self-employed, it can be related to romance and love, and it can be related to children, pregnancy, things like that. But bearing in mind that the anaretic degree is a stressful point, it's a completion point, it's a critical point, and there is the energy of Pluto in this out of sign conjunction to the moon, which is in exile in Capricorn, across the dynamics of your house of Jupiter's joy is about your long-term dreams, your plans for the future. And you know, there's a theme of hope and family and safety and security. And then Capricorn is about authority and wisdom and discipline, and you know, and Pluto is bringing transformative change here. Pluto is currently in your 6th house of your everyday life, work, service to others, and it can be related to your health. And with this conjunction, there can be some sort of stirring up, endings and new beginnings around these themes of your pleasures and how that works for you in your life. And you have got a supportive aspect coming from Neptune, providing a trine, not a trine, a sextile, 60 degrees sextile to the moon here. So that can be supportive from the house of relationships. And, you know, there's a revealing, a reflection going back over your important relationships in life, with Neptune going retrograde here in the 7th house and Saturn also going retrograde here. Something around commitment, long-term commitment, sextiling the moon, and at the same time, Neptune is trining the sun in this house here of Jupiter's joy. So there's potential for shifts and changes, and things may be coming to an end that have began around the new moon, around the 11th of January this year. So let me know if any of that resonates with you, Virgos. So now moving on to Libra. Hi, Libra. So this full moon in Capricorn for you, Libra, you're one of the cardinal signs of the zodiac. So it's in an angular house. It's a dynamic house. It's the house of home and family here, where the moon is at 29 degrees, 8 minutes Capricorn, opposite the sun in your public house of visibility, 29 degrees, 8 minutes in Cancer. So this dynamic is getting you to balance out and find that perfect fulcrum point between your career and your family life, your home, where you feel safe, the resting place. There could be some massive shifts going on for some of you Librans, because we've got this out of sign conjunction from Pluto, which brings big changes and transformational, regenerative endings and beginnings and new beginnings, releasing something that no longer serves you, and a big shift and change here, which may affect your home life. And it's in the dynamic as well of your visible life. But there's a sense of the Cancerian sun being in opposition to the Capricorn moon. Cancer is very much about protection and family and safety, and Capricorn is about using your own sense of discipline, authority, commitment, practicality for long-term plans. And there is a supportive sextile coming from Neptune, from your house of everyday work, service to others, giving a sextile to this moon. So that's a helpful energy, using your own creativity and imagination and trust and faith. And at the same time, there's a trine going to the sun in your house of visibility. So, you know, there's some positives here, big shifts. And when there's big shifts happening, it can be a bit fearful, but it's about stepping into things for movement and change for the future that can help us grow as individuals. So I hope that's helpful for you, Librans. So now moving on to Scorpio. Scorpio here, we have got this second full moon, this blue moon in Capricorn, activating topics around your third house, which is the joy of the moon, the house of the goddess. And actually the moon is in her joy. So there's something positive here around communications, around your everyday journeys, maybe how you can express yourself using your own sense of authority and your own wisdom, your mastery. Can be related to siblings and distant relatives like aunts and uncles, or those friendship groups that are in your neighborhood. And it's in an opposition to the 9th house of the joy of the sun. So the sun is actually in his own joy up here in this house of Cancer. So there's topics around widening your mind, your belief system, some sense of growth, perhaps with further education, or any topics that widen your sense of broadening your horizons and making sense of life. This dynamic here is about finding balance. There's a sense of needing to have security for the long term, because Cancer is very much about home, family, safety, you know, the crab that has the home on the back, protection. So there's some shifts here, and also with this conjunction, this could be what's culminating from the beginning of the year around the new moon in Capricorn, new moon in Capricorn, which comes to fruition. And we had the first full moon in Capricorn on the 28th of June, and it's given you a chance to revisit these themes again at this time of the full moon on the 21st of July. And you can see this out of sign conjunction with Pluto. There's just about a degree with this. So this is in your house of home and family. So there's big shifts here potentially happening, but Pluto will be moving back, retrograding back to the point in the heavens where the moon is in Capricorn at the 29th degree. That's on the 2nd of September until around the 19th, 20th of November. There's going to be this activation of all of these communicative journeys around and about finding your power, having a sense of new beginnings, and that can be bringing some transformative changes, you know, around these themes in your life. And where is Neptune? We've got Neptune here giving you a sextile. Let's get my arrow instead of the circle. There's a helpful sextile coming from Neptune at the anaretic degree and the joy of Venus. Venus's joy, the 5th house. So there's some flow coming around here. Bearing in mind, you know, Neptune is going backwards, maybe helping you look back on what's not been so clear around your personal pleasures in life, you know, maybe relationships, and Saturn going retrograde here in this house, also revealing what needs to change for the long term. And Neptune is also providing a trine to your sun up here in this 9th house of Cancer, which is a flowing, supportive, harmonious thing. Using your own imagination and having a sense of faith for the future would be good for you, Scorpions. So thanks for listening. Let me know if any of that resonates with you. Leave a like, share, and subscribe if you would like to continue supporting me, or begin supporting me even. So thank you for visitors to this channel that already support me. I really appreciate your presence and coming back. So Sagittarians, here we've got this full moon in the 2nd house of Capricorn at 29 degrees 8 minutes. So this house is about your own skills, your finances, your resources, how you make money, how you feel safe, what you take into your body. All of these things are related to the 2nd house, and it can be about, yeah, what you can bring to the table. And opposite the 8th house, where the sun is at 29 degrees 8 minutes in Cancer. So this is the idle place, the gate of Hades in ancient times. So there's this dynamic around 8th house topics about shared resources. If you're in a relationship, and how you share things, what you bring to the table, a sense of karmic debt and what's balanced there. So the themes around this full moon may be bringing up topics about money, about how you spend money, how you earn money, how you want to earn money in the future as well, because, you know, we've got the anaretic degree here of the sort of slightly stressful energy, but, you know, Saturn ruling this full moon in Capricorn can bring reality check. What you need to do. Are there gaps in your knowledge? What can you do to improve how you use your finances and create finances? And with this out of sign Pluto conjunction here in the 3rd house of Aquarius, there's, you know, using your own power and ideas in how you communicate within your local environment, maybe in something that's prevalent in your life. And there's a sense of maybe breaking down and doing things in a different way with this conjunction with Pluto moving back to the same degree of the anaretic degree where the moon is at this time on the 2nd of September. There'll be a couple of months for you to review, revisit, rethink things, transform and change things around topics of your finances. And at the same time, you know, there is a supportive sextile from Neptune in your house of home and family, where you'll be reviewing things, rethinking things, having things being revealed, and Saturn, you know, given a sense of restriction or limitation, or working out your mastery and how you can use your own authority and use your own boundaries. With Neptune, there's a sextile here to the moon, bringing some sense of hope and faith and trust in the future. And there's also a trine to the sun up here in the 8th house of Cancer, related to topics of home and family and safety. So those are some of the themes that I can see that are relative to your Sagittarian 1st house there. So I hope that's helpful, Sagittarius. Let me know if any of that resonates. Hi there, Capricorn. Capricorn, you're one of the cardinal signs of the Zodiac. So with all the other cardinal signs, you're the last cardinal sign. We've got 1st house dynamic of the moon at 29 degrees 8 minutes, opposite the 7th house dynamic of the sun at 29 degrees Cancer, 8 minutes. So it's about self, your own identity, how you show up in the world, your mindset, your sense of vitality and ability to express yourself, come into this completion point that may have began around the time of the new moon on the 11th of January this year. And maybe some of these topics about balance within relationships, shared relationships, your audience, those that you serve in a public sphere, your clients, your customers, if you're not in a personal relationship, these themes may have come to that first full moon fruition around the 28th of June, when we had the first full moon. And yeah, and you're getting the chance to revisit these themes Capricorn moon is in exile because Capricorn, the moon rules Cancer, the opposite sign. So there is a sense of sometimes the emotions may be high, but sometimes it's hard to actually tap into the emotions because there can be a coolness around emotional expression with the Capricorn boundary ruled by Saturn being the ruler of Capricorn. However, there will be intense energies coming from this out of sign conjunction of Pluto retrograde. Pluto started moving retrograde on the 2nd of May. And you can see there's a 1-degree orb here. So topics around finances and money and security and how you show up in the world, they're blended together. These themes about finances and resources and your own skills has really like given you a chance to rethink these things that may unfold over the next couple of weeks as well. And it is related to yourself and your personal shared relationships, how you show up, and the theme around safety, security, home, family, ancestry is being highlighted by this dynamic across this 7th house here. And at the same time, you've got the flowing aspect from Neptune here, providing a sextile to the moon from your 3rd house of everyday life, siblings, your local neighborhood. Neptune is going retrograde, maybe revealing some truths and hidden things from the past. As I was talking about the shores, the sea going out and what's being left on the shore that may not have been visible before, and your sense of responsibility, mastery, wisdom, and boundaries in your everyday life. There's something here with Saturn going retrograde as well. But the sextile is a helpful aspect to how you show up in the world, using your own sense of commitment, responsibility, and authority, and discipline, self-discipline. And Neptune is also bringing a trine to your house of relationships, where the sun is at this anaretic degree. So there's some flowing, hopeful, hope and faith and trust coming from everyday life and neighborhood for you Capricorns here. And the moon is also obviously activating that sense of your own personal way of showing up in the world and how that might change. So let me know if any of that resonates with you, and thanks for listening. So moving on now to Aquarius ascendant. Aquarius, welcome. This full moon, this blue moon, this 2nd full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees 8 minutes is happening in your house of Saturn's joy. So the moon in Capricorn, in a way, is quite comfortable being hidden in this house here, the most distant place from the helm of the ship, which is the 1st house. We go around, it's all personal experiences and then shared experiences up here. And then finally, the place of retreat. So there's something going on behind the scenes, hidden away from the public eye for you Aquarians. And that's opposite the house of Sun in Cancer at the 29 degree 8 minutes Cancer. So these are anaretic degrees. In ancient astrology, the 6th house was the house of Mars's joy, and in ancient astrology, this is the house of Saturn's joy. So these are the malefic planets, but there's a sense of trying to find some balance, you know, something about how you show up in the world in your everyday life. With the Cancerian house here is about your duties, mundane chores, service to others, self-sacrifice, and it can be related to health and the theme of family. Your roots, safety, security is being highlighted, and also across the dynamic of the moon in Capricorn about your emotions, which may be hard to tap into because Capricorn is a bit cool in exile. The moon rules the opposite sign of Cancer, but you know, there's something about reflecting upon themes that may have been prevalent for you around the new moon on the 11th of January that may have started come into fruition around the 22nd of June, sorry, the 28th of June at the 1st full moon in Capricorn, that are now you're being given the chance to revisit. And you've got this very powerful dynamic here, Aquarians, of this Pluto here in Aquarius going retrograde, since the 2nd of May. But, you know, really bringing up regenerative and transformational changes in how you show up in the world, tapping into facing your own shadow, but also within that, finding the treasures below, beneath, within, that help you recognize your true sense of power and, you know, your own abilities. But there is this out of sign conjunction, so it may be stirring up quite a lot of things that you need to face and let go of, purging and releasing to allow space for healing. Because this house of the 12th house can be a sense of loss and letting go. It can be tapping into your inner self as well, a place of compassion and deep spiritual work, recognizing your dreams and things. With Pluto going back to the anaretic degree where the moon is on the 2nd of September for a couple of months to around the 19th, 20th of November, you know, this is going to be activating these themes that are prevalent around this full moon. And we've recently had a conjunction of the Mars and Uranus. It would have been down here in your 4th house of home and family, ancestry roots, the land, property. So there was a conjunction here on the 15th of July. So some of those themes of sudden, unexpected change or courage and breaking free may be some themes that are rolling out following this powerful conjunction. So let me know if any of that resonates with you, Aquarians. Thank you for listening. Like or share. And now we're into the last sign of the zodiac in the astrological year. I followed it round in this order from Aries through to Pisces, just to make it easier for you to follow the timestamps. So welcome, patient Pisces. I always call you patient Pisces. I doubt that you listen to the whole thing, but if you do, you're very, very patient and you're very, very kind and supportive people, sensitive and compassionate. So for you, Pisces, ascendant, sun or moon, the moon, the 2nd full moon in Capricorn, this blue moon gives us an opportunity to revisit these themes that may have been prevalent around the 28th of June, that may have started around the 11th of January at the new moon in Capricorn. Now we've got the moon at the anaretic degree, 29 degrees, 8 minutes Capricorn, in your 11th house of Jupiter's joy, the greater benefic, about your long-term wishes, dreams, hopes for the future, opposite the sun at 29 degrees Cancer, 8 minutes in your 5th house of Venus's joy, the lesser benefic. So these are lovely houses. There could be some real creative ideas that can flow to you, that you can harness, and something may be coming to fruition from seeds of intention or projects that you started around the new moon at the beginning of the year. Themes around family and safety with the Cancerian placement here at the anaretic degree in Cancer and the Venus's joy are important to balance with your sense of group shared initiatives, because this is the house of the benefactors or allies in ancient times. The 11th house of Jupiter's joy is about friendship groups that support you. So there's themes that are coming to a head. They may still unfold over the next couple of weeks, or indeed with this Pluto conjunction here, there is a sense of revisiting some themes, because Pluto is going to be moving retrograde to the point where the moon is in Capricorn on the 2nd of September 2024. The Pluto will revisit for the last time in 248 years this opportunity for you to revisit your long-term wishes, your plans for the future, what you'd really like to develop and unfold. And Pluto is giving you this chance to use your own ideas and your own initiative and shedding what you no longer need, because Pluto is very, very much about letting go, purging, releasing, losing that skin, like a snake losing the skin, with the sense of new life, new beginnings, new potential. And for you, Pisces, this Pluto is in your 12th house at the moment. So there will be a sense of very deep transformative journeys that allow you to tap into your inner wealth, that hidden self part of yourself over the next 20 years. But, you know, certainly between September and November the 20th, there will be tying up ends around your friendship groups. You may be letting go of certain friendship groups that no longer serve you. You know, they had their time, you grew together, and now you may be moving apart here. And that's one of the themes that I can see going on for you there. And also recently, around the 15th of July, there was a conjunction of Mars and Uranus here, giving you potential shifts, courage, light bulb moments of, you know, stepping into some sort of sense of breaking free from something with new ideas and courage around your neighborhood or within your friendship dynamics, that, you know, friends that you treat as family, or certainly siblings, aunts and uncles and cousins, those sort of dynamics. There could have been something volatile that happened that preceded this full moon. And certainly with the tide going out, with Neptune retrograde in your first house, and Cancer and Saturn also retrograde, there's a sense of the tide going back out. Shout out again to Laurie Lothian, Lunatic Astrology. She talked about Neptune retrograde, like the tide going back out. In modern astrology, Neptune rules Pisces, so Neptune's at the anaretic degree here, and Neptune will still be in Pisces until she moves into Aries on the 27th of January. So, you know, wanting to get to that second house of Aries, but at the moment there's reflection. The tide goes out and it's revealing things that have maybe not been so clear for you in how you show up in the world, things about finding your sense of authority, wisdom, and mastery. Also with Saturn here, your sense of commitment, what you can do in the future. So, you know, those are some themes that I can see for you there, Pisces. So thanks again for listening. Sorry if my interpretations have been a bit short. I've got some very important family things happening at the moment that may unfold. So sending out my own wishes for my family and blessings for new life to come. And I'm off to work at Centaur Design. This is one of the pendants that my partner who makes the jewelry has made. I couldn't find my other full moon necklace, but this one is a resonance pattern from the pattern of, I've gone blank, in Sicily, Mount Etna. Yeah, it's the pattern of the resonance of the volcano Etna exploding and capturing that energy here. So I thought this was quite a nice symbolic piece of jewelry to wear to represent the full moon, but also perhaps the explosive energy of the Mars and Uranus conjunction, which is happening exact on the 15th of July. So again, thank you for listening. If you're interested in a personal reading, it's my absolute pleasure to work with you with your personal birth chart, where we can really bring the astrology alive in your life so that you can recognize the patterns in the heavens that may be reflected in your everyday life, to give you the tools to know your own natal promise and what's in your birth chart that you live with in this lifetime, and how that may be getting activated by all this planetary activity. So with any knowledge, you know, we are able to be more conscious and walk our path with more awareness and ability to feel that we have our choices that we can make to navigate difficult times. So sending out blessings during this full moon, this blue moon in Capricorn. And yeah, lots of love. Thank you. Bye for now.